welcome to For the Love of Nature, a podcast where we tell you everything you need to know about nature and probably more than you wanted to know. I'm Fawks, Lapole.
And I'm Katy Holloway, and we're back!
Yay!
Season 3, episode
Which
1.
Is crazy.
It is really crazy to think, especially since season 1 we were so worried about getting past episode 7.
Right. Now we're on season 3, so we've got at least 24 under our belt, plus some bonuses.
Yeah, right? So we're going good. We're going very good here. So, last season, we've been hitting really good numbers. We've been having, people all around the world listening. It's been insane.
Great, guys.
Yes, so keep it coming. Absolutely keep it coming. We love talking to everybody about what we're doing. As funny as it is, I love when my coworkers, of all people, when my coworkers who listen to it come up to me and they just say short one line. Like I told you, what was the episode we did with the misname?
Badly named.
Yeah, badly named. And somebody just walked right up to me and went, Peter Bird. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you heard that.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry you heard that joke. But also it was amazing. So we absolutely have loved the support you guys have given us and just the ideas and just the general feedback. This has been really fun.
Yeah. And we'd love to hear from even more people. Right now, it's a lot of friends and coworkers who are like, ooh, do one on this, do an episode on this. But, we've got people we've never met on Twitter who are super big fans that we've worked with. We're hoping to get more and more people involved. Maybe do some sponsor and advertising. Who knows?
Yep. Yeah, we have some stuff hopefully lined up here soon coming up. So we shall see. All right. As always, do we want to dive right into some nature news?
Let's do it.
Alrighty, so this one is kind of a throwback, even though it just is now, at the end of June, breaking news. I actually talked about this one way back in episode 3 or 4 maybe. It was the crazy animal research. So the title is, this French fry stealing seagull, gull, mind you, is the star of a new Google ad. So apparently there has been a photograph going around, which I didn't see this back in June, but I still think it's hilarious, that now this seagull, or this gull, is very famous because he's a camera person, photographer, right place, right time.
Yeah. Man, we were on this before. Right? We got our finger on the pulse.
Before it got popular. But, so as everybody knows, gulls love to eat food, and it is a perfectly timed picture of a gull eating a French fry sideways, completely the width of its mouth. And they described it as a cheeky herring gull, was bold and fearless as it approached the person, while the husband tossed French fries to the gull to catch. And again,
a British newspaper.
Yeah. And so it was just right place, right time. And for whatever reason, because it was on featured on a Google ad that was what are you searching for this summer from Google? It blew up, and it apparently low key broke the internet. So anyway, throwback to an early episode. If you haven't listened to interesting or bizarre animal research, go back and listen to it. That's a good one. My favorite, one of my favorites. I still like bizarre animal researchers better. Out of this
Mad Scientist one.
Yep, the Mad Scientist ones, because that one's really funny. But go back and listen to it if you haven't heard any of it. Anyway, so gull blowing up because of the French fry, and we still haven't heard from Thrashers yet if they want to be one of our sponsors.
Yeah, totally. So, it's not too late, Thrashers. Jump on it before we get too big for you.
Yeah. I don't know. I still think if we got really big, I would still love to be sponsored by Thrashers.
I would love to be sponsored by pretty much any delicious food company. So,
for anybody out there listening, yeah.
All right, my nature news. It's just a sensational headline, so of course I clicked on it. The headline is, "Hey, so these sea slugs decapitate themselves and grow new bodies."
What?
Which, dude, there's even video of it. It's so cool. So you know how, like, there's a lot of things out there that can lose their tails, like some lizards and things.
Yeah.
It's called autonomy. They just drop it. Well, these sea slugs, they're like, I don't even need the body. It's just the head. They decapitate themselves. It's not the tail, it's the entire body, and all that's left is their little head, and their little head starts moving around immediately.
That is so creepy.
They have no organs, like no heart, nothing, okay? And they can still function.
What?
And within one day, the neck wound heals, and within a few days, in less than a month, the entire body has grown back. Because by a week, it's already regenerated a heart.
Is it the same purpose of, like, predator predator evasion?
Like
okay. Because, man, that would be some pretty drastic measures to be like, I'm just going to decapitate myself.
That are some sea slugs with body images.
Yeah, just like scooting its head along.
The video is crazy because it's a tiny, tiny little head next to its body that it just dropped, and so you'd think that the body could regenerate.
Yeah, right. A head.
It's got all the organs, but no.
Yeah,
it can't. The body dies. The head regenerates, and apparently
you're forgetting the important part. Like, you know what I mean? Like all the organs. You've left it behind. Yeah,
but the brain, I can't. But like, how can it? Just so sea slugs are something crazy because they don't have a heart to live. So apparently they made sure it wasn't a fluke. And it's multiple sea slugs did this. One of them even did it twice.
What?
So that one must have been like just a nervous Nelly, just dropping its head every time it gets nervous.
A poor little anxiety-filled sea slug just just drops it.
So yeah, decapitated, regenerating sea slugs. So as soon as we can harness that power, we'll be unstoppable.
But at the rate of which millennials have anxiety, I don't know if that would be
just bodies everywhere.
Just bodies everywhere.
Heads just like
scooting along. Oh goodness. Alrighty. Well, do we want to go ahead?
Oh wait, we didn't even say what this.
Oh no, my goodness, we didn't. Well, we are going to be
treat.
Yeah, because we're kind of doing not really a throwback, but I mean, okay. So episode 2, we did crazy animal sex, and in that one, I hit on a little bit of mating rituals. So that is what we're going to be talking about today, or just the mating rituals of different animals.
That some animals perform some elaborate courtship and mating rituals just to get laid. Oh, wait. I guess we should also say, just like our second episode, caveat, anyone who is listening, who is, young ears, we are going to be talking about mating here. And although
biologically accurate.
Yeah. It will have, some adult content and language and many innuendos.
I promise. With the
I can promise that.
Alrighty.
Now go for it.
Now we're good. Alright, so children, avert your ears. Alright, so this is one of my favorite mating rituals of any animal. And
choose.
Yeah. That's all, like, can you really say that without being weird? Like, this is one of my favorite mating rituals. Anyway, I believe I've mentioned this on the podcast before. Hopefully I haven't done an episode on this anyway. But my first mating ritual that I'm going to be talking about is the bowerbird.
Oh, cool. I left that one. I thought about doing it, and I was like, it's Australian. Katie's going to cover it.
Exactly. So, you know which country has my heart? Australia. Which we do have some Australian listeners.
Finally.
It only took me saying it how many different times, so... finally. Anyway, so bowerbirds are 20 different bird species in the family of, I'm going to guess it's a silent P, but, well, because it starts with a P. Tilonfracae.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
Shidae. Tilon or Kandai. Okay. So, again, from Australia and New Guinea, of course. These are medium to large-sized birds, ranging from the golden bowerbird, which is 8.7 inches, to the great bowerbird at 16 inches, which is just...
Wow, that's a pretty big bird.
That's a pretty big bird. Their diet consists mainly of fruit, but may also include insects, flowers, and nectar. However, the may is a very rare occasion because they are very much so frugivores. Only one of the 20 bowerbird species are monogamous, and the male in those ones, the male raises the young. All other species of bowerbirds are polygamous, and the female raises the young. And I'll go over a little bit more of that. Yeah. So, of the polygamous species, the females are often brown or gray or other neutral colors, which makes sense if they're the ones hiding out, in the ground protecting the baby birds or in the nest protecting the baby birds. Males, however, have a wide variety of colors from green, orange, red, yellow, black, white to olive, brown, or sooty gray with like accent colors. Again, it's 20 different species under the family of bowerbirds, so it's a very diverse group. Some may also have a brilliant crest of elongated feathers, or what's called a ruff, hanging over the back of their head, which is basically just a big poof of feathers. Essentially. Yep. So the men are dressed to impress, pretty much. All right, so their mating rituals, and this is why, I don't know, this is just really funny to me. All right, to attract females, the males build, decorate, and maintain elaborate structures, which are called bowers. Now, for clarification, bowers and nests are two different things.
Makes sense, because, that would be a terribly camouflaged,
nest, right?
Neon signs, ding, 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 ding.
Hey,
all of our eggs.
Hey, predators, here's where it is. So the bower is simply where the male does his dirty dancing deed to attract the females. If he's successful, they do the dirty, then the females fly off to her own nest to raise the young. And when I say polygamous, I mean it. They literally knock her up and then start over again and wait for her next lady. So there are 3 different types of these bowers: maypole bowers, display courts, and avenue type bowers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. So maypole bowers are constructed by placing sticks around a sapling. Some of these species also build a hut-like roof over their bower, so it's almost like a hut, essentially. Yeah. Display courts is an area with large leaves laid upon, upside down or tilted with rocks, in which the male will perform his mating ritual dance. And then avenue-type bowers are made of 2 walls of vertically placed sticks, which give rise to the name avenue, of course, the name. Now, earlier I said the males decorate these bowers, and that's what makes them so interesting, because they definitely decorate. So male bowerbirds will take objects like brightly colored stones, fresh flowers, or iridescent insect skeletons that are specially placed around the bower to try and attract a female.
Almost typically like one color, like a cheese color.
Yeah. So I'll get into that in one second. So they almost use this as hey, lady, aren't my things nice? Look at all my things. They're lovely stuff. Yeah, all these lovely things I've collected. They're nice. Come down this avenue. And hopefully the female follows him, which it sounds cuter whenever I was preparing this, but then as I started going through it, I was like, man, this sounds way creepier. Because I was like, oh, bowerbirds are so cute, but yeah, not so much.
Lure in.
Yeah, lure in with pretty objects.
My love garden.
Yes, right? The mites, just lure them in. So anyway, depending on the particular species, depends on which color or colors of objects they prefer to collect for their bower. For instance, some bowerbirds only collect blue objects, and it's mostly bright blue objects. They'll collect berries, flowers, and now that humans are around, any plastic toys, plastic bottle pieces, or anything that is that shade of blue that they like. Which I really do like the color blue, so this little bird collecting random blue treasures, it would work for me.
It's my favorite color.
I could be lured. It's fine. So what's even cuter is that he will also keep the decorations fresh. Did he add fresh flowers? Yep. All right. As soon as they die, he'll go out and find more. So, I guess all the plastic that humans toss around, and the
upcycling.
He's upcycling, essentially. So,
even better.
So at least we've helped one species with all of our plastic.
I was just gonna say, if I was a bowerbird lady, I'd be like, not only is he an excellent interior designer, he upcycles.
He upcycles, yeah, right. This isn't so bad. So anyway, try to put a little bit of a positive spin on our plastic crisis here. All right. So yes, in conclusion, male makes a hot dancing pad, lures females down there, do the dirty. If she's accepting, then once she's gone, he tidies up and to do it all again, hopefully with another female, and he just goes again and again and again and again, as many different times as he possibly can until the season's over. So I was going into this from a cute angle, but yeah, now it just kind of sounds like a recipe for murder.
My question is, what about the one and only monogamous one? Does he bother with all of this?
Hey, I think he does with some of it, but it's mostly to initially attract the female, from what I saw. But I didn't do too much. I didn't do too much.
Through all this trouble to get one lady.
Yeah, I didn't do too much research on that one.
All right, well,
that's it.
Super cool.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah,
I love the images of bowerbirds. Like if you look up them, like
they are really cute,
crazy and popping.
Again, I can be lured. Just bring me cute blue things. Give me some cute blue things. I'm totally fine.
Well, I chose my nature news for a very specific reason, because my first animal mating ritual has to do with sea slugs.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Which is, like, there is a million different types of sea slugs or nudibranchs, all of them, though, are nuts. So, real quick, some natural history. We're talking about lots of different species here, but all of them are related to slugs and snails. They can range anywhere from 1/8 of an inch to 1.5 inches. They inhabit mostly shallow waters around the world, including coral reefs, marshes, bay grass meadows, etc. They can be found all over the world. They eat tiny animals, at least the nudibranchs do. There's like a couple different types of sea slugs. I'm focusing on nudibranchs. And they can look insanely different. They come in all sorts of colors and shapes. Some look straight up magical or unreal. They're gorgeous.
They are pretty interesting, yeah.
And they're all soft-bodied. So, mating rituals. There are so many weird ones. I didn't focus on one in particular. Just look up anything about sea slug mating and it all sounds insane. Here's a couple of examples. Well, actually, real quick. Many are hermaphroditic, meaning that they have both male and female parts and can take either, though usually they decide on both roles.
It's just like if you have nothing else to do on a Friday night. I mean, we're recording right now.
Reciprocal. Like, it's all... Usually it's not just one, it's both. Okay, so here's some weird examples. One species undergoes a long series of what's called hypodermic transfers.
What?
Hypodermic transfers, meaning that they stab each other a bunch before doing the deed. This is usually reciprocal while they circle one another. So this is not the only species that does this. Another species has a 2-pronged penis, one prong of which is known as a penile stylet that stabs and injects sex hormones to get the other one in the mood. Some species stab randomly, while there's one species in particular that always goes for between the eyes.
What?
Yeah, just bam, right in between the eyes. That one's really famous if you look up sea slug mating.
That's so mean.
It gets them turned on. I don't know what else to say. So that's hypodermic transfers. There's also another mating ritual called a love chain, which is when they line up as a large group, get it on, one in front acts as female to the one behind, and so on and so forth. And it's just a big, long sea slug orgy chain.
Okay. Pause. How long are these chains? Did you find that?
No.
Okay.
One looked more like a circle to me. But
I mean, it'd be more practical to be a circle than a straight line.
I guess as many, they basically, the video was saying like as many as are around. They'll all just be like, yeah, just join in.
So now, I have so many questions. How often do sea slugs hang out together? Like, how many hang out?
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
They're not a group, right? It's not like they're a group species,
Right?
And how do they know? They must release like pheromones or something because it's not like they scream for each other underwater or like yell
Or like a herd,
Yeah.
of sea slugs.
Hey guys!
Anybody want to get it on?
Love chain's happening.
Our poor listeners. I'm so sorry.
They love it. Another species they attach to one another and perform a flowing dance while swimming and mating, which can take up to 4 hours, which is a long time. And last but not least, what got me really intrigued.
I was like, none of this got you intrigued prior?
This was what, like, I didn't know any of the rest.
Okay,
I only knew this about sea slugs. And that is with penis fencing. So that's what got me interested in sea slug mating rituals. The rest
I can't.
is just a bonus.
I'm eating french fries. I'm going to choke on a french fry.
Another species fences with their penises to see who gets to be male and who gets to be female. So they have an everted, so a sticking out penis, and they basically like have this weird fight where they both, it's like thumb wars, the concept, because they're both trying to inject the other because they want to be the male. So they're trying to inject one while avoiding the other ones.
I really hope they start making 1, 2.
Just touching tips. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm thinking it's much more classy than that because this is fencing. So there's got to be some they probably do touch and then, but it's very like elegant and gentleman.
If you say so.
This is, I have to read Kim's comment. We can always edit it out if she doesn't approve. Kim says, this is literally an exercise in dick swinging, and I am elated.
Kim with the comments.
And that is the sea slug ritual.
Can't even. Alrighty. So, I'm actually going to go into a little bit of what Laura was talking about.
The land version.
Yeah, right, the land version, pretty much. So I wanted to originally say that my second mating ritual was going to be, I don't know, less weird than the bowerbird, but it definitely took a turn for the worse the more I looked into it. So it's going to keep getting worse, folks. All right, so my second animal, garden snail. Yep, garden snails. But not all of them, because we're only going to talk about ones that use love darts.
Which is what an incredible term.
Right, a love dart. Yeah, right.
I hope they're all Cupid species, like Cupid something or other.
They are all, hold on. I had it here.
I'm curious as to what their scientific name is.
Helicid snails. Helicid snails, which are fairly popular for having these love darts. All right, so Helicid
name.
Yeah, right, stupid.
Missed out.
Right? So these Helicid snails are a large, diverse family of small to large air-breathing land snails, sometimes called the typical snails, which I was like, are you freaking kidding me? The typical snail. All right. These, along with snails in general, are hermaphrodites, just like Laura was talking about, that can take male or female roles in mating and reproduction, as whatever circumstances that dictate. So several of the snails within the classification family are edible to humans. What do snails eat, though? Pretty much anything. So I find it pretty gross to eat snails just because they're kind of like catfish. Like catfish are like a...
too.
But also like catfish are a trash fish, because they're like a bottom feeder, and so I like a trash eating fish. So I feel like the same thing with snails. They literally eat anything. They've evolved to eat a variety of not just food, but decomposing items as well as fungus, worms, waste, and sometimes even other snails. So this particular species is native to Eurasia. The Helicid family of snails covers a lot of species. Just like a common misbelief with turtles is that snails will leave their shells, and just like turtles, they can't. they can sort of replace their shell, but it's not like they just ditch it and
like
leave.
A hermit crab.
Yeah, like so many people believe. So they are born with a soft shell fused to their body, and then they grow, age, and so does the shell. All right, so let's move on to love darts. First off, I need everyone to pause the episode and go search your favorite web search engine for love dart snail. This thing is freaking brutal. So similar to the bowerbird, snails are promiscuous. This love dart, though, is made of freaking calcium.
Ouch.
So it is calcium.
Yeah, a bone.
Yes.
Shot. Yeah.
Yes. So the love darts are an essential tool for promiscuous snails, which mate multiple times with different partners to try to fertilize as many snails as they can. Now, the dart is only used in courtship before actual mating occurs, but it's still a key component to it. Garden snails court from 15 minutes to 6 hours by circling, and that's just the courting part.
Yeah, that's commitment.
Right? So they circle each other, they touch their little eye tentacles together, and this is also, they bite on each other's lips.
Kissing.
Yeah, which I thought was so funny, because you can imagine like two little like garden snails being like, I remember, you know,
but just really awkward kissing.
Awkward, yeah, it's super awkward. And they'll also bite each other's genitals, which is
yeah, for, but perhaps.
Well, let me get into it. Yeah, let me get into it. So, just before mating, hydraulic pressure builds up in the blood sinus surrounding the organ housing the dart. And when the second that the animal touches the darter's genitals, it fires the dart. It's just like suddenly, wham! It just can't hold it back any longer.
I think most guys would say that.
Can't. Oh, I can't. For the purpose of what the dart is, and I'm going to read just straight from Wikipedia, which has been fact-checked.
Where's the dart coming from? The head?
No, I don't think so. It's the body.
Just outside? I mean, because snails don't have arms, but I want them to be firing a little tiny crossbow. But I'm intrigued as to where it's actually coming from.
It's coming from their body.
Okay.
It's like under their head. It's like almost like their chin. Like if a garden snail had a chin.
that a spike comes out of.
Yeah.
That makes sense that it would be there, because if they're going to be biting genitals, then it's going to...
Yeah. Right up there. All right, so for the purpose of what the dart is, okay, so I'll just read straight from Wikipedia because it is a hilarious description. The process of using love darts in snails is a form of sexual selection. Prior to copulation, each of the two snails, or slugs, like you were talking about, attempts to shoot one or more darts into the other snail. There is no organ to receive the dart. This action is more like, similar more to stabbing or being shot with an arrow. The dart does not fly through the air to reach its target, but is fired, quote unquote, as a contact shot. So basically the snails just like the pain. Like,
yeah, at least my slugs, there was like some hormones going in usually.
Well, there is a little bit behind this though, because after the first snail fires a dart, the second one is like, "Yep, I want in on that," and fires a dart into the other one. So they're just stabbing each other and just taking turns, just stabbing each other.
I feel like this is very human centric. Like. We need to interview these snails and find out exactly, like, why. What's their deal?
So, once both snails have fired their darts, they will actually mate. So, what's the point to the dart? Or is there a point to the dart? Yes and no. Not the dart itself, because that doesn't really have, like, a particular purpose. However, it does play a role. So, when a snail is hit with a love dart, it has been studied that a chemical signal is thought to be carried on the dart, which prevents the mate from disintegrating the usual amount of sperm. So whoever ends up being the female, they're in their reproductive tract. Like in many animals, it's very hostile to sperm. So because better sperm yield better young, that dart firing essentially like sends off a chemical that doesn't allow her to make her reproductive tract as hostile. So yeah, it almost makes it better because then the better sperm make it to where its destination.
Yeah.
So again, while the dart itself doesn't play a direct role in mating, it kind of helps prep the path so that more sperm make to its final destination because they're suffering from their stab wounds.
Yeah, I think there's a better way to do that, but okay.
Right? Yeah, right? And they just can't make it, the sperm can't make it into a hostile environment, so apparently it needs that. I mean, if I was stabbed too, it's like a shock to the system almost. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay. So, but anyway,
Dang.
Love darts. That's all I had for that one.
Okay. My next one. I remembered this bird from videos that I've seen before. It's the red-capped manakin.
Ooh.
He's so cute. Real quick natural history though. Their range is from southern Mexico to northern South America. They live in tropical lowland forests. And there are like 60 different species of manakins. I'm just doing the red-capped, which obviously have a red head. The males have a black body, yellow upper legs, and the females are a dull greenish brown. And they're chubby and about 4 inches, so about the size of a sparrow. They're mainly solitary until breeding season happens, and like bowerbirds, they're frugivores, so they pretty much only eat fruit. So,
I could be a frugivore.
Oh, me too, for sure. I love fruit. Especially during, like, this last bit of pregnancy. I wake up usually at, like, 5 a.m. and I'm hungry and thirsty. And so, solution, pregnancy hack for anyone listening, watermelon. Fulfills 2 needs at once.
Water and the melon.
And food. Yeah. Anyway. So the mating ritual of the red-capped manakin.
Which, pause, by the time this episode is released, Laura's still pregnant right now. By the time this is released, you should have popped by now.
I would certainly hope so. So this bird is also known as the moonwalking bird due to its awesome and hilarious mating ritual.
Wait a minute, is this the one that's in those BBC animal talking ones?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Like, along a branch. Yeah. So males choose a stage area to show off, which the scientific term for that is called a lek, L-E-K. So normally they're solitary, but a couple of dudes will all come to like a stage where they're going to show off.
A dance-off, if you will.
Yes, and as National Geographic says, it's a singles bar. So males dance their little tails off while snapping, buzzing, and whirring their wings and vocalizing. It's seriously the craziest thing. You must look up a video. It's seriously impressive. They do actually moonwalk across branches. It looks like they're on a little string and they're being pulled across the branch because their little legs are going so fast you can't see it. They're just moonwalking.
I also like that the females find that impressive. You know what I mean? That like a female bird's like, oh, that's what I like.
Yeah. Look how fast. They also have other sweet moves and look really intense when they're doing this because they have like white around their eyes and they just dead stare at the female. So it's a very intense looking process.
There's so many things I can say right now, but well, there's no children listening. Yeah. Can you imagine like if that was like humans? I mean, and maybe that's somebody's thing, but like the intense staring.
Oh my gosh, that's so awkward. So this cannot be appreciated without watching a video of it. Absolutely. And after you've watched the scientific version of it, you can then look up that when people have dubbed over like
yes.
Billie Jean.
Yes.
So you can appreciate the moonwalking to Michael Jackson. So if the ladies like what they see, they mate with the alpha males, which are the ones who are basically the best dancers. And only them. So it's a pretty like cutthroat competition. Most of the males don't get the ladies. Only a couple do, and they have to be really good dancers. And as I said, there's a ton of species of manakins, and they're pretty much all gorgeous, and they all dance. This one's just specifically known for moonwalking, which I found to be pretty impressive.
I mean, I guess I would go after a guy if he was a pretty good moon. Probably
I'd
not.
just be into probably anyone who's really good at dancing. I don't know about moonwalking, but
I wouldn't say good at dancing. I would say is confident enough in themselves that they are okay making a fool of themselves dancing. Because I love dancing and like it's just fun. So it'd be confidence in themselves.
Well, then the moonwalk would be like the fun, ridiculous dance.
Yeah.
I was just thinking would be attracted to any guy who can like truly dance, like Hugh Jackman. For many reasons.
Listen, we've talked about this before. Any man or woman would be fine with Hugh Jackman.
And that is the red-capped manakin.
Alrighty. Well, that was my 2. That was your 2. Did you want to do your third one?
All right, so my third one is the humpback whale.
Oh, one of my favorites.
I figured, yeah. I was like, wow, I wonder if Katie's doing a whale. So humpback whales. I was originally going to do this species because I read something about how males get into big choirs and sing. That's been busted.
Yep.
Which I didn't know until I started doing tons more research. So at first I was really disappointed that they don't have a choir, but they do still have some really cool mating rituals.
I immediately go to like Happy Feet. You know what I mean? Like whenever they used to say that, how it was like they all start singing.
Yeah.
Continue.
So the humpback whale, real quick natural history. They live in the Arctic, Atlantic, and Pacific Oceans. From polar to tropical waters, from coastal waters to the deep ocean, they're not very picky. They're big gray whales with white accents, with super long flippers, a butterfly-shaped tail, and a small triangular-shaped dorsal fin, which gives it a sort of humped appearance. They live in groups. They migrate seasonally. They're generalized feeders, which means they eat any plant or animal life, mostly fish, though, like 95% fish, on the surface of the water. And they can live over 75 years. So, whales are awesome.
They are.
The mating ritual, though. There isn't actually a lot known about the actual mating of whales. In fact, what I was reading, they hadn't even seen humpback whales actually mate as of at least 2018. They may have now, but they just didn't
Not
know.
that I know of. Because, I mean, you figure, I mean, talk about right place, right time.
Right.
I mean, if anybody wants to, like, pay us enough on Patreon, Laura and I will quit our jobs and go
absolutely
and just
stalk the crap out of those humpback whales.
to get, not that there's not enough scientists trying to do that already, but Laura and I will get it.
I was gonna say, or if any listeners they're like, no, they have seen it, please send it our way. I would, not that I want to like see it, but I want to know about that it's finally been recorded. So, their mating ritual. So since whales are social, they tend to do their mating ritual, their courtship ritual, in groups called competitive pods, in which several males are all trying to get a female's attention. She might even have a baby with her. It doesn't matter to them. Doesn't really matter to her. Probably very traumatizing, but
To the baby or the mama?
to the baby.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't think the mama cares.
Yeah, no, it gets brutal. So she is totally chill. As all these smaller males are fighting, leaping, smacking the water, and swarming around her. And when I say, like, a lot of smaller males, I mean that there can be more than 15 dudes all swimming around her, vying for her attention. So they breach or leap out of the water, which makes them look larger and more intimidating. Plus, it shows off their energy and strength. They will also do what's called a heat run, which is like the scary bit, which is when they literally just smash into one another with their foreheads. And this can get so intense. Sometimes they do it open-mouthed and just rake each other. So they don't have teeth like a killer whale. They have baleen. But baleen is still like
it's very
plates.
Yeah.
So it still scrapes. So
listen, the amount that any male species goes to,
I know,
is
this isn't like this part of the mating ritual isn't even that out of the ordinary because so many of them fight this way. I just seeing a whale do it would be
a whale is crazy. Yeah.
So that draws blood. And it has even been known to be deadly. Like, they've found dead whales after this.
I mean, that's not surprising if you're going as fast as you're a whale. And you're going
a whale and you just headbutt each other.
Yeah. Something's bound to happen here.
Yeah. All of this is just to gain the dominant position called the primary escort, which is just the one guy that's allowed to swim by her side and defend her honor or whatever. They're not even sure, scientists aren't sure what the female, if it's even selective. Like, she is so, from what they've noticed, the female is so disassociated with the whole thing, like, she isn't paying attention to any of this. She isn't watching them breach.
She could care less.
She doesn't care.
Whatevs.
So, they're all doing this to try and get this position to chase the other boys off, so there's only one dude left. So it's not like she's choosing.
She's more like, this is okay.
They'll figure it out. So, scientists are still trying to figure out if there is any form of selection.
Yeah, like, does she care? Does she have a preference?
Right,
or
is she settling? Or is she... Because that seems really depressing.
I guess I'll take this one.
I guess she ends up with the best guy. Definitely most aggressive.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't know if those are the genes you want. Who can headbutt the hardest? I don't know if that's the genes you necessarily want passed on.
Bros. Like brain-damaged bros.
I mean, they're whales, so hey, man. Wham!
Yeah. Oh, man. And then the other thing that I found, and I was like, there's no way this is real, but I found it on more than one website, so I just really want it to be real. This is the only part where the female must have any investment in the matter, because that was all about competitive pods. Not that weird, sheep butt each other's heads, deer, that kind of stuff. This is where things get interesting. It's in my opinion, a very thoughtful and seductive courtship ritual, in where the male goes underneath of the female and blows air bubbles up at her genitals, which she must find lovely. This is where Kim said she blushed. So
yes, Kim.
I hope someone else out there is blushing, thinking about these thoughtful. So that's what's so funny. It's like the difference. This primary escort we're just talking about being this this brain damaged bro. He's got a sensitive side where he's willing to give a little.
I can respect that
and blow some bubbles. I can hardly believe it's real, but I'm hoping.
I'd be okay with that. Like,
Yeah, that sounds way better than this crazy fight that goes on all around.
Or both. Like you said, like, he's just, like, very much so wants the girl. I mean...
Yeah.
And then when he got...
Maybe that's what happens after he's the only one left. Like, he's proven himself, and then she's like, okay, fine, but I'm still not quite sure, and then he does that, and she's like, okay.
You know what? You are good.
I'm fine with it.
Oh, there's so many.
That is the ritual of the humpback whale.
I have so many things to say. Oh.
Well, right, and even the name. I mean, it's all good.
To be fair, I mean, again, it's the animal. If you work that hard, you're willing to swim at something. Because how fast do humpback whales swim?
I think pretty fast. I didn't write it down, but I did see it somewhere. I'm pretty sure it can be up, like, fast.
Let's see here. Up to 15 to 16 miles per hour.
I saw 7. I know there was a 7 involved.
7, yeah. But still, I mean, if somebody's willing to like, defend my honor, you know what I mean? Like, to be able to make...
Oh, yeah, at like a 2-ton... A 2-ton thing, smashing into another 2-ton thing. I would just like to witness this. Like, there is, like, if you look it up, there's the scientists who have observed all of this. They're like, it's a play-by-play. They're like, male number 2 just breached out of the water. Male number 3, like, it's like, they're like doing this play-by-play. And
maybe
it's crazy.
Maybe she's just playing it cool. Like, maybe she's like playing it like she's not that interested, but really she's like, all right, I see you, male number 2. Yeah, you know what I mean? And well, so she is interested.
Is there any of it that's for the girl, or is it all just to push each other away?
I mean,
they'll find out.
They're pretty intelligent. You know what I mean? Like, they're pretty intelligent. So I would think, I mean, I don't know, but I would think that the female would have at least, well, because I mean,
an inkling of what's going on around her.
Right? Yeah. Or to care. But I mean, also a lot with animals, I mean, it's just all get your genes.
Right.
You know, like get the genes.
Want the most fit genes.
Yeah, and so is headbutting each other to show that you're the strongest male, is that the thing? Blowing bubbles is just a perk, but you know, is
I think that is probably what it is. And like I said, the breaching shows that they've got a lot of energy and stamina to keep leaping out of the water and so it's like it's all a physical
endurance test. Yeah, physical endurance test.
And then the extra perks.
Blowing bubbles. Suddenly shows his gentle side. All right. I'm glad you did that one. That was definitely worth it. Alrighty.
Sorry we messed up the order, everybody.
Oh, that's fine. Nobody cares.
No, they just wanted to hear about mating rituals.
Right? Don't we all? No. So, all right. Well, that's the end of episode 1. Make sure you go check us out on social media, FTLON podcast, Footlon podcast, or search for us on Patreon for the love of nature, and you can help support us so that
Join the Nature Nerd Nation.
Yes, please, goodness. That way we can talk to you guys. That way we can, I don't know, do all kinds of cool stuff, get your feedback. Because again, we love talking to our listeners. It is by far one of my favorite things going on right now is just talking to people who listen to this podcast, that just to hear the things that they find are funny, to hear things that they find are fascinating. Right, one of my favorite things.
Or to even hear, I didn't think that person did listen.
Yes. And it just comes out of nowhere. Like, oh yeah, I listened to that episode. And we have some people that are listening to it in order, some people that are not, that are just skipping around and listening to what, they find most interesting. And it's been a really fun journey so far. So again, thank you to everybody who has been listening and supporting us, even if it is just with your listens. It's definitely beneficial to us, and we really like having you guys around. So continue to listen as we kick off season 3.
Yeah, we got a lot of good things in store. You're going to need to prepare yourself for the next episode because it's going to be a doozy.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be good. It's going to be intense. It's going to be scientific. And it's going to be long.
It's definitely going to be long. But it should definitely be a good episode. I'm very much so looking forward to it.
Oh, for sure. And it's going to show, you'll get to learn a lot more about Katy and I. If you're curious about us as individuals, I think the next episode will bare our souls, man.
I would even say, even if you know us outside the podcast.
Agreed.
This is by far going to take a deeper look into each of us, for sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's enough of a teaser to bring everybody back.
I would be intrigued.
Right? Alrighty. We'll talk to you guys next week.
See you next week.